Hey, sixth graders, this is Mr. Baker coming to you from my house. I just want to say welcome, whether you're on the red team or whether you're on the blue team. You're okay watching this video right now. I just want to say welcome, and I kind of want to say welcome back to school, although it's not really like normal school here. Definitely things are crazy. Now, man, who would ever thought this? If you think back to earlier in sixth grade year, if somebody had said to you in November or December that you wouldn't be going to school in March, April, or May because of a pandemic, we would have never thought about that could happen. But here we are, we're living through it, and you guys are literally living through history right now. Whether we like it or not, we certainly don't like it, but it's history. And someday you're gonna be really talking about these days for the rest of your lives, to be honest with you, probably. I just want to start out by just encouraging you. Some of you are really stressed out, or really worried, or really nervous, or just really sad. Maybe just want to start out by encouraging you guys. Maybe you got parents that have lost jobs. Maybe you're worried about your grandparents. Maybe you're worried about your parents if they're a doctor or a nurse, or you're worried about your siblings, or even you're just worried about somebody in your family catching this virus. I just want to say, hey, just relax. Everything's going to be okay. And then there's others of you out here watching this video right now. You're like, this isn't that bad, Mr. Baker. We're getting to miss school for several weeks, and you're not too worried at all. You're thinking this is okay. So whether you're really nervous or scared, or whether you're not that nervous or scared, I just want to encourage all of you and say everything's going to be all right. We are going to be back to school. If not in May, we'll be back to school in August, and at some point in life we'll return to normal, and everything's going to be all right. So today I'm going to talk to you about my class, and what you can do for my class. My class is sixth grade computers. Obviously, it's one of your related arts class. Now that we're kind of officially switching to we're kind of rolling out the online learning to you guys here today. So I'm going to talk to you about that today. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn this camera off so you don't have to look at me while I talk to you about this, but you're still going to be hearing my voice. So here goes, turning this camera off. So welcome to sixth grade computer class. Again, my name is Mr. Baker, and I will be your teacher for this class. Now, this video I am going to have you watch right now is for my fifth quintile computer class students who are currently most of you are on the sixth grade red team. Now, some of you right now are watching this video have me in fourth quintile. And for those of you that are in my fourth quintile students, and you've already had me, you know who I am, you had me for a teacher 19 days leading up to spring break. What I'm going to have you guys do is, in a second, you're going to stop watching this video, and instead you guys are going to go over to my Scholar Moodle page, and I'm going to have a different video there directed to you guys. So if you go to my Scholar Moodle page, again, this is those of you that had me in fourth quintile, those of you on the blue team. When you get to my Scholar Moodle page, you'll see a section right here that says Update from Mr. Baker. And there will be a video right here underneath. And it should, by the way, it won't say Sunday, April 5th. By the time you're watching this, it should say either Sunday, April 12th or Saturday, April 11th. And you can just click this play button and watch this video of me talking to you. So that is for those of you, again, that had me fourth quintile and that already know me. So at this time, those of you that fall into this category right here, you can pause this and go to my Scholar page and do that. All of the rest of you who have not had my class, stay with me here, and I just want to again say welcome. I'm kind of bummed that you guys aren't possibly going to be in my classroom in sixth grade, depending on what happens in May. But good news is you will be in my classroom in eighth grade. If you don't get to be in my classroom here in the month of May, you'll get to be in my classroom in eighth grade. And some of you already know, by the way, from advisory and from Excel first quintile. So if I know you that way too, that's awesome. So, and the other thing, I'm going to be next year, you're going to be in seventh grade, and you guys will be right outside my classroom all the time in the hallway. So I will be getting to know you guys pretty well that way too. So welcome. A little bit about myself here to start. I have been teaching at Urbandale Middle School for 20 years. I love my job. I always brag to people that I have the best job at Urbandale Middle School, teaching middle schoolers about stuff on the computer. My wife is a fifth grade teacher at Des Moines Christian Elementary School. She's actually been doing this online teaching stuff for a couple weeks now, and she loves her job over there too. We live really close to Urbandale Middle School, just a few blocks away. I'm about 2 minutes drive to the middle school, and we live even closer to the middle school pond. I like to run out there at the pond and ride bikes out there, so you occasionally might see me out there if you're ever at the pond by the middle school. A little bit more about me. I coach eighth grade boys basketball. This season I did with Coach Brown and Coach Mo. Some of you know Devin in sixth grade. His dad's also one of the coaches. So Coach Brown and Coach Mo and myself will hopefully be coaching you guys when you guys are in eighth grade boys basketball. Also, two of my favorite hobbies I love to do. I love to exercise, and I love to watch Major League Baseball. I'm really bummed right now that baseball is not happening, and as many of you are, Cubs are my favorite team, as you might have saw on my shirt. And I have been actually to 22 of the 30 Major League Baseball parks. Hopefully we'll get to the other 8 here in the next 10 years. And I'm really hoping baseball comes back this season as well. So just a little bit about me. Now, 6th grade computer class. This is going to be a 5th and final related arts class of 6th grade. And again, you may be in my classroom in May or maybe not. And if you do come back to my classroom in May, over the course of the next couple of weeks online here, plus the month of May, we will get to work through 5 main units: typing, word processing, digital citizenship, iMovie, PowerPoint presentations, which is actually what I'm doing right now, a little PowerPoint presentation for you guys. And then we typically spend 1 day on GarageBand and 1 day on Soundtrap. Now, worst case scenario is we don't come back to school in May because this virus isn't quite over yet and they're not ready to send us back to school. If that's the case, then we'll be cutting things down significantly. If you look at these units here, the 2 biggest things that we'll get to will be typing and digital citizenship. Both those are going to be online things that you can do at home. Hopefully there'll also be a day where I can show you Soundtrap, and you could do that a lot. If you've ever done Soundtrap or GarageBand, you know what that is. It's really cool stuff. If not, I'll show you one of the days in May. And then also, depending on time, we may get to do a little bit of word processing. Not so much you do the assignments, but more me just showing you what the other students learned on the blue team back in February and March before we went on spring break. So hopefully, again, we'll see you in May. But if not, we'll get through these things here. And this class works really well online too, so we'll be okay. Now, the most important unit, and the one I'm going to get started on today, the most important unit that I can ever teach you as a 6th grader, and again, we'll teach you some more of this in 8th grade, is to become a really good typer so that by the time you leave middle school, you will be able to type really well. Now, most of you right now, and talking probably 95 or 98% of you, you cannot type right now without looking at your fingers. When you type something for a teacher, you have to look down at your keyboard and type it in. Well, my goal is by the time we get done with this class, you will be able to type well without having to look down at your fingers. Now, if you look at these pictures here, you see these black keyboarding covers over the top of the keyboard. And in my classroom, some of you have been in my classroom, you know where my classroom's at. You might have seen these. I have white keyboarding covers that look just like these that fit over the top of the keyboard. Now, unfortunately, if you're doing this at home, you're not going to have one of those to put on your keys. But what you could do at home, and I would encourage you to try this maybe, is as you're working through this typing program at home over the next couple of weeks, maybe you can make something. You could be a little engineer and make one of these things. All this top picture is just it's basically like a blue piece of cardboard that they folded, more or less. This one's just another piece of cardboard or something they folded over to kind of cover up the keyboard. And if that's too tough for you, what you could even do is just take a piece of paper. It's not going to be. It's going to be a little more uncomfortable because it'll be a piece of paper sitting on your hands. But you just put a piece of tape over the top of it at the top of your keyboard. Just lay it on top of your fingers, and this is going to help you out big time. Learn how to type without looking at your fingers. So I want to encourage you to do that. If you just sit and type and just sit and look at the keys and type in the letters, chances are you've been doing that since kindergarten, and right now you can't do it yet, most of you. If you don't make an effort at learning these keys, you won't be able to learn these keys. So that's why I'm encouraging you to try something that's going to block your view of the keyboard. I know it's going to be a little bit harder that way, but trust me, in the long run, you're going to be so glad you can type without looking at your fingers. So what I'm going to have you do over the next couple of weeks here until we have a better direction of where we're going in May is to spend 15 to 20 minutes a day doing this program called Type to Learn, which is going to teach you how to type. It's the exact same program actually my students did in class for 4th quintile. So you're going to get to do the same thing. You just get to do it at home in the comfort of your own house. Now, one of the questions that come up is how am I going to show you, Mr. Baker, what I've completed? And do I need to share something with you on Google, or do I need to email you something? The answer is no, you do not. I will be able to see how you are progressing without you having to share anything with me. So all you need to do is just work through these lessons, and I will be able to track how you're doing each and every day. So nothing you need to share with me. Also, if you have any problems with this, Mr. Baker, I can't get logged in, or Mr. Baker, it's frustrating me, it's making me redo something over and over again, make sure you email me, reach out to me, check with me, and I can hopefully help you out with that. So if you have any problems, let me know that. Now, how are we going to do this? Great question. You are going to do this on a website, and I've created a tiny URL just to make it easier to find. And if you can remember this tiny URL, www.tinyurl.com/ and then remember these 6 letters, UMS TTL is all you need to remember. If you can remember the tinyurl.com part, just remember these 6 things, UMS TTL. What's TTL stand for? It stands for Type to Learn. So if you go to that website, it looks just like this. And I'm going to pull this up on my Safari window here. So I'm going to go down here to Safari. And by the way, you could do this on any device, probably not a phone or a tablet, but you could use this on any type of computer, whether it be a Windows machine or whether it be an Apple machine. Also, this should work fine on the Chromebooks. I haven't tested that on Chromebooks yet, but I think it'll work fine on Chromebooks. If it doesn't, just let me know that. But it should be fine on a Chromebook. It should be fine on a Windows desktop or laptop computer, and it should be fine on an Apple laptop or desktop computer. So if you have one of those things, that would work best to do this on. Now, when you go to this website, it is going to look just like this. And when you get to this website, it looks just like this. Initially, it's going to have a thing that says an account code right here, and it's going to be these three numbers, these three letters. If you always go to this website, you don't have to remember these 6 things, and don't change those. Just leave those as it is. This will take you to the Urbandale Middle School page, so just leave that just like that. Now, what's our username, Mr. Baker? Your username is going to be your last name and the first 3 letters of your first name. So if your name is Jack Smith, what you would type in right here next to username would be Smith, J-A-C. Now, a number of you, or not even a number of you, some of you have 2 last names. For example, if your name is Mallory Jones Jeter, you would only use your first last name. So then in that case, you would type in Jones, M-A-L, the first name and the first 3 letters of your first name. And that would be your username. And again, if you can't figure this out when you try this, just shoot me an email and I'll help you out. Your password, on the other hand, is going to be something that is going to be the same for everybody. It's just a generic password I always use in my classes. It is UCSD1. It stands for Urbandale Community School District and the number 1. All right, so I'm going to try this. I'm going to hack one of your accounts. Let's see, I got 167 of you to pick from. Whose name am I going to hack here? Let's go with Colton. I'm going to type in his last name, first 3 letters, and then UCSD1. And when I do that, this is what's going to happen to yours. And yours, you'll say your name here, and it'll look exactly like this. Now, how do I actually launch this Type to Learn program to get started? You just click right here where it says Launch Type to Learn. And that is going to turn your screen black. And if you want to click your mouse, you can try clicking your mouse. It might take a second to load, but eventually you can click your mouse. And even here, you can click your mouse again. And sometimes that speeds it up, sometimes it doesn't. And then it'll take you into the screen. It looks exactly like this. And it'll have your name at the top here. It'll tell you what lesson you're on. Everybody's going to start on lesson 1. There are 20 lessons you're going to be working through over the course of the next couple of weeks in this class. Ideally, you can get this done in about 3 or 4 weeks if you spend 15 to 20 minutes a day. And the only 2 things you need to know on this screen is the word begin right here and the word final challenge. Now, notice if I try to go down to final challenge, it says to enable final challenge, you must complete all the activities within a lesson. So instead of doing final challenge right now, I'm going to come up here and click the word begin. Once you finish the lesson, then it will let you do the final challenge. Once you get the lesson done, make sure you don't click the word begin again, or it's going to start you all the way back over at lesson 1. So anytime you finish a lesson, you come down here and you click on Final Challenge. When you get the Final Challenge done, this will automatically change to Lesson 2. And then you click Begin and you do Lesson 2 and eventually Lesson 3 and eventually you get through all 20 lessons. And as you do this, the more you do this without looking at your fingers, the more you're going to learn how to type without looking at your fingers. So I'm going to click right here on the word Begin. And again, anytime it goes, it might load slow, it might load fast depending on your internet speed. But right here, it just says put your right hand on JKL semicolon, put your left hand on FDS and A, which is your home row keys. The bumps, depending on your keyboard, you should have little bumps below the J and the F keys. And to just press any key like the space bar to start. And it's just going to start working through these lessons. And you'll see here, there's going to be steps. This particular lesson has 4 steps. When you finish, this white bar will start moving across right here. And when you finish the step, it'll change to step 2 and then eventually step 3 and eventually step 4. And when you get down to step 4 and you get the white bar over to this side, it is going to take you back to the main menu screen. To get back to the main menu screen, by the way, if you ever need to stop in the middle of a lesson, you can just click this button down here in the corner. And then it would take you back to the main menu screen, and then you would be able to come down here and do the final challenge, and then you would be done with the first of 20 lessons. Also, I want to quick go back to this and mention right here at the bottom of your screen, you see these purple hands. Some of you are saying, Mr. Baker, it's going to be impossible to do this if I can't look at my fingers. If you cover up your hands so you can't see your fingers, what you can use, and it's kind of like cheating, but it's not really, it's going to help you out, is you can look down here at the bottom of your screen, and you see these 2 purple hands showing you Like in this case, I want you to type in the letter J. Notice this lights up a little bit, so it shows you the exact finger you should be using. So feel free to use this thing down here at the bottom to assist you as much as you need to, versus instead of actually looking at your keyboard. Give this a try. And normally I'm standing over you to watch you to make sure you're doing this correct, but unfortunately I won't be able to help you directly above standing behind you if you need it, but shoot me an email if you have any problems. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, you can work through these 20 lessons, spending about 15 or 20 minutes each day on this. And then again, I'll have some other things for you to do after that. That'll be even better than this. So let me know if you have any questions. If you don't, because I've gone over this video for about, it's getting close to 20 minutes or 15 minutes today. So if you don't get a chance to, if you don't want to start this today because you're 15 or 20 minutes up, you can just pick up right on lesson 1 tomorrow. Otherwise, feel free to do lesson 1. Lesson 1's pretty easy. It probably won't take you very long. So with that, good luck, and I will talk to you next week, if not before. So have a good one.